You are listening to Daisies Are Live. I am your host, Umi Walin, with my special guest.
Hi, I'm Sarah.
Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. We actually picked a really interesting topic for this special holiday episode. We'll have sparkles and magic, or maybe quite the opposite.
We are going to tell you the dark version of Disney. We are going to reveal the real and horrifying stories behind these dreamy classic fairy tales. So, a little warning this might ruin your childhood a little bit.
You must be wondering, how can a Disney story has a dark version? Well, the Disney movies you watch are fairy tales, and fairy tales are fiction. So, one fairy tale can exist in many different versions because people tend to modify them. There's quite a number of tales, but we decided to pick Cinderella, which is one of the legendary Disney tales, yet has an interesting story behind its beauty.
Ooh, Cinderella is actually my favorite. Now, it is a true classic which has actually existed since about 2000 years ago. Can you imagine how old this story is?
Super old, and that explains why there are many versions of Cinderella. Because according to American Library Association, there are more than 500 versions have been found, but this was just in Europe. I think almost every culture have its own version of Cinderella.
Well, yes, there is the Rhodopis version, which is said to be the original Cinderella story, and also the Chinese version from the 9th century called Ye Shen. But for today, we picked the version written by the Brothers Grimm, published in 1812.
And if you guys don't know, the Brothers Grimm were German authors who together collected and published folklore during the 19th century. Their father died in 1796, and this had impoverished the family and affected the brothers for many years.
And this is also why some critics suggested that their father's death was the reason the Grimms excluded fathers in their tales. And they made female villains dominant, like in Snow White and Rapunzel.
Now, shall we start by refreshing our memories about this classic tale?
Now, okay, here we go. We're entering the darkness now. So, in the story that was portrayed by Disney, meaning the Cinderella story that we all knew and grew up with, Cinderella was an orphan. Her mom died of illness, while her father died soon after he remarried a woman with two stepdaughters.
Yes, but the Brothers Grimm version differs from Disney's. The father did not die, but he just became ignorant towards Cinderella because he was too busy with his new wife and new daughters.
It's so unbelievable, isn't it? And what makes it even crazy is the fact that her father even joined his new wife on being mean towards Cinderella, his own biological daughter.
Also, in the movie, Cinderella was gifted with a fairy godmother who granted her a dress, a carriage, and the signature of the tale, which is a pair of glass slippers.
Whereas the Grimm brothers wrote this in a different way, though. Cinderella did not have a fairy godmother. Rather, she planted a tree by her mother's grave, watered it with her tears, and prayed under it every single day.
Yes, and Cinderella found all the tree dresses under this tree.
Wait, 3?
Yeah, you heard me right. There were actually 3 dresses in the story, not one like in the movie. Also, they were not glass slippers, but amazingly were gold slippers.
And that is not the best part yet. The best part is that when the prince came to find Cinderella, when he was seeking for Cinderella, one of Cinderella's evil stepsisters actually cuts her toes off, while the other cuts her heel, just so they can both fit into those tiny gold slippers.
Surprisingly is that, guys, their stepmother was the one who made them do so, because she said that when they marry the prince and become queen, they don't have to ever walk again.
Now, but thankfully, the prince was notified when there was blood on the slipper and soon discovered that the true owner was Cinderella herself.
Well, I must say that was a pretty useless sacrifice now that her stepsisters must continue their lives without their toes and heels. Now, not only that they were unable to walk, they also lost their eyesight.
Wait, they lost their eyesight? I don't understand.
Yes, eventually they tried to win Cinderella's heart by attending her wedding because obviously Cinderella's gonna be the queen after marrying the prince, but only to have their eyes pecked out by birds.
Oh, so that's how they got.
Blinded, yes.
Oh, well, lastly, guys, Cinderella did not actually lost her shoe because she was in a rush, but the clever prince had actually covered the stairs in pitch to make her stick to them.
And that is the Grimm brothers' version of Cinderella. Apparently, Disney chose to leave out these horrifying and gruesome details.
Well, I can totally understand though. These details would definitely be disturbing to young kids.
Yeah, I can see why Disney changed some of the details in this classic.
Well, thanks for listening to the podcast. Daisies Are Life is a positive community that lifts each other up.
I'll be back in the next episode with a topic that will surely surprise you all. Make sure to listen to find out. Have a great holiday and don't forget to smile.
Bye!